Happy Sinspiration Day! I'm Alex and it's good to be back. Welcome to my channel Sinspiration, the only place where I inspire you to develop a growth mindset. It's been a long time since I made a video. Over the past few months, I have been moving and settling into my new place. I finally moved out of my parents' house and my next video will go into more detail. But today's focus is Sinspiration Day. 1 year ago, I made a video about how I started Sinspiration. From posting puns on Facebook, to writing inspirational quotes and personal achievements, to battling my quarter-life crisis, and won. Every year on this day, I will reveal my life advice about success, wealth, and happiness. How to achieve all three simultaneously. I don't like to give advice anymore unless someone asks for it. And so instead of using the word advice, let's use the word takeaways. And these are all based on my personal stories. Ask for help appropriately and effectively in a timely manner. I've always been the type of person who doesn't really like to ask for help. When I was younger, I usually just asked my mom or dad for help, and I think it's a trust thing, but maybe it's also an ego thing. Obviously, when it came to college and work, can't ask for parents for help anymore, so I have to ask my colleagues, peers, or even managers. And so at work, there were times where I just got stuck. And the question is, when do I ask for help? Do I work on it a little bit and then see if I can figure it out? Or do I just go ask for help right away? And so over time, I felt the most effective way to do it is to try to work on the problem myself first. And my manager said something about 4 hours. So maybe spend some time, do some research, try a couple things, and then when you ask for help to the experts, you present all of your findings to them, and so they can be able to help you more effectively. And then that's how you're going to make progress, get your work done, and then you'll be able to show the results to your manager. Learn to accept failure, rejection, and mistakes. Then move forward and do better next time. Einstein once said, "A person who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new." Making mistakes is part of learning. And for me, I made the switch to do software engineering after studying more about hardware and electrical engineering. And so I had to go through these coding interviews, which I did not practice enough. And no surprise, I failed. I failed once, twice, 20 times. And you would think that I would learn from these mistakes. But for this, it actually took me several months, maybe even a couple years in order to master the pattern or the skills, the thought process needed to pass these interviews. And so after a lot of practice and learning how to solve those problems on my own after the interviews, I started getting them correct, passing interviews, and even be able to answer questions that I haven't seen before. When I switched from software to do AI, same thing. I had to learn what that process is like, fail a couple interviews before finally landing my current role as an AI software solutions engineer. And so when you learn from these mistakes, you're really building up your skills. And these are the skills that are valuable much more than the results, which will come into play as a result of the progress that you have made. Take initiative to stay up to date with the latest technology and desired skills, including soft skills. Breadth provides options. Depth makes you a respected expert. I'll give two examples. The first one is the internet. Can you imagine if you didn't learn how to use the internet, as in how to search things and look for answers, or to learn some new material, or learn how to do something? Where would you be today? Like, you would be very behind compared to other people if you did not learn how to use the internet. AI is another example. When ChatGPT came out in November 2022, all these companies, they started to talk about AI. They want to purchase their hardware and start developing these apps. or programs into their businesses. And so AI is becoming everywhere, and that's the next big thing after the internet. And so it's important to stay up to date with this type of technology, to learn how to use it and leverage it so that you can both help yourself and also help the company or in your career. And don't underestimate the soft skills. Communication, how you write or speak to other people, how you communicate your ideas to people as well as listen are just as important, because that's how you're going to work with other people and make progress. Or it might be leadership, where you have to manage yourself and also the organization and the people that are helping to build your vision. Breadth versus depth. Now, breadth is really good because breadth gives you a wide range of knowledge and you'll become a generalist. You'll have the awareness and you have some idea of what's out there. And that's great, but that's not going to take into your career as far as depth. Because when it comes to depth, you're actually being an expert in a particular area so that very few people can do what you do or solve the problems that only you can solve. And so when you have a lot of depth, people are going to look to you to help them with whatever they need to do. Certain degrees give you diverse opportunities and career paths, and you can switch along the way, but it takes time, effort, and some degree of luck. When I was a high school senior, I decided to study electrical engineering because I knew that I could go into hardware or software in my career. And so it did. I started doing hardware engineering in my first job, and then I transitioned into doing software. And then a year and a half ago, I started doing AI. But the road to this was a very challenging one. I had to do 3 years of part-time masters while working full-time. I had to study for these interviews on top of the job and also my personal life so that I don't go insane. And I failed so many times along the way. Like, you would think that I would learn from my mistakes, but it actually took me lots of tries before mastering that process. In fact, I don't think I even mastered it now. And to get that job in AI, I actually got very lucky. It was an internal transfer, and I happened to know all of those questions that my interviewer asked, including the technical and behavioral, and they tested me on my presentation skills, something that I happen to be better at compared to other candidates that they were interviewing for. And so that's how I got my current job. And so now my take for you is, as you are choosing a major, pick something that allows you to branch out to different areas if possible. This keeps open doors for you. But at the same time, if you do want to switch in your career, it's better to do so early on, preferably in your 20s. Because if you wait, you're going to overqualify for those entry-level or junior positions, and you most likely don't want to take a pay cut, especially if you have a family to raise. And so if you want to switch, it is better to figure out and explore all of that during your 20s before finalizing on something in your late 20s or early 30s, so that then you can take your career to higher levels. The most successful people pursue their strengths instead of passions. But if you pursue your passion consistently, it can become your strength. I know this one is a tough one to take, but also optimistic. If you look at the most successful people out there, what they do is their strengths, because strengths is what will earn their respect and draws our attention to them to purchase their products and services. And from there, that's how they're able to grow their businesses. For careers as well, if you are working in a job that you are good at, you're going to get promoted faster, and then you're going to be able to do bigger projects, get bigger impact. But there are some people who pursue that path that just aren't happy. It's not their passion. So what about the dreamers, those who really care about doing what they love to do and want to do with their lives? Because we only get one shot at this. And so a lot of people do start out small and they work their way up. They learn little by little and get better every single day. In fact, I think a lot of athletes, they weren't naturally born and good at swimming, tennis, basketball, or are tall in general. I think they had to spend a lot of time practicing, hours every single day, eating right, sleeping right, so that they build the athletic abilities needed to play these sports so well. Steve Jobs was not good at computers until he met Woz, or Steve Wozniak. It was there that he learned how computers worked so that they delivered the Apple II, and then that's how Steve Jobs went to work on the Mac and then the iPhone. And so all of these people, they had a long journey of steady progress every single day. Practice makes perfect. From my own stories, I always failed at these coding interviews, or I didn't qualify for these AI jobs because, well, I never took the classes, I never got the job. But all these new jobs require experience. How can I get experience if I can't even get the first job? And so it's that first leap, that threshold, that is the hardest part to get over. But I never gave up. I went through and did the master's degree anyways. I continued to study. I applied to jobs, hundreds of jobs, even if only 2 get back to me. Those are the chances that I'm going to take. And in the end, I only needed 1. And 1 was what I got with my current job. And so can you. You can go and pursue your passion over time, and then you will get better at it eventually. And at a certain point, you'll be able to do that for your career. And hence, you would have found something that you'll be successful at, be happy with, and hopefully be wealthy from it. Success, wealth, and happiness. They are all intertwined, and it is possible to achieve all 3 simultaneously. Is it easy? No. Do people complain about life? Yes. Are you going to do something about your life? Absolutely. Now that you've heard 5 anecdotes and takeaways from my personal life. Whether you're continuing the journey with me or just joining, take 2 seconds to like this video and subscribe to my channel to get updates on new videos. And check out my page for more content on how to develop a growth mindset. You've been Sinspired today. Happy Sinspiration Day. I also want to wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Bye.